Hello everybody, this is Havoc back with another Total War Saga Troy video. Having had several days hands-on with the actual campaign, there are some major features on the campaign map and in battles that may or may not sway your opinion on the game as a whole. Some of these you already know, but maybe not in so much detail, and there truly is a lot to cover. Before we get into it, this video is possible thanks to access provided by Creative Assembly, and as always, I appreciate it. This build is also a work in progress like anything you see before release. As such, the features you see in this video are very much subject to change in many ways. Now let's dive in. Campaign map size. To start this shindig, I want to put a decent emphasis on the campaign map. I was impressed with the map size of Thrones and was wondering how they would be able to pull off the same scale for Troy, especially with so much sea in the Aegean. So to take a look at my Menelaus campaign at turn 34. This is all I was able to really explore in my time playing. Now we zoom out to see Knossos at the bottom, and then pull up to see the rest of Greece and Anatolia. The map is truly massive, and Creative Assembly was able to break up the Aegean Sea with the dots of islands that actually hold settlements. There are over 230 settlements in this game to give you a better idea of the scale, leaving plenty of room for expansion. Readable user interface. This one is a stretch in terms of features, but it's something I cannot leave out when it does come to features. The UI or user interface for Total War Saga Troy is easily one of the most readable and accessible in the Total War franchise. Very rarely did I ever have to dig to get information I wanted, even though there is a lot more information on the campaign map than in other Total War games. The UI art is clear and concise as well, not to mention really giving off that black pottery art style. It all comes together in a way that makes myself as a designer immediately comfortable getting into it. Huge kudos to the team here. MultiResource Economy. You're going to hear this a lot from me in the coming weeks, but that is because this is a decent game changer for the Total War franchise. Gone are the days of gold only, now replaced by 5 resources, all of which are infinitely generated but gold. Food is primarily for feeding your army, wood and stone for building, bronze for more advanced troops, and gold for several usable things. Having this multiple resource system lets you do a bit more every turn and adds some strategy in terms of expansion ideas. I personally go for the closest gold mine to start my gold game early, trading for the things I need using said gold. It's a positive first step forward for the franchise for sure. Diplomacy and trade. These are both shaken up a little bit in Total War Saga Troy. In terms of diplomacy, you'll find all the usual options from Total War with the exception of one, unless you are Agamemnon, client states. No other faction in the game is allowed to have client states aside from Agamemnon, it's literally just not there. I'm not terribly keen on this option myself, but it falls more under the storyline character traits for the epic, and I have seen military and defensive alliances function very well in the build we played, so it's possible that this will be a productive counter. Trade works differently as well. There are no trade agreements in the usual Total War way. Since gold isn't a standalone currency, you are actually trading the resources themselves now in a barter format. You can trade resources in a single barter agreement or push your bartering skills to a more long-term agreement at a max of 10 turns. And just as a heads up, the AI loves them some gold. Might be worthwhile to pursue them gold mines. Settlement trading. It's a feature that has been confirmed as a real thing, though it does have some stipulations. You generally will not see an option to trade settlements unless the faction you are trading with shares a border with you, as this specific trade mechanic is designed to clean up border gore, not really meant for random settlement trading. It is also possible that the AI will come to you and trade a settlement as part of a peace treaty, though that was either a consistent bug or don't expect that to happen very much. Royal decrees. Technology has been replaced with royal decrees. These decrees do not unlock any units, buildings, or special abilities, but will affect recruitment and building costs, buff units and various stats, as well as give boosts to resource generation, very similar to the effects seen in the Warhammer tech tree. The gods. There are 7 confirmed gods in this campaign, and there are 2 primary ways to interact with them, albeit not physically. Favor is the largest of the 2, and as your favor increases, your cult grows larger and the effects of the particular god is greater. You can build up favor by constructing temples, using priestesses to boost it, and by sacrifice through the Hecatomb option in the Divine Will tab. Second is through prayers. Prayers can be used on any of the gods, and there is a percentage chance that your prayer may or may not be answered. Prayers are 4-turn effects that give you short-term boosts to some aspect of your campaign, from battles to settlement growth, agent actions to diplomatic influence. When playing your campaign, it is very possible to have more than one cult active at a high standard. It does require a bit of finesse and strategic planning to keep more than one god sufficiently happy though. Battle maps. When it comes to battle maps, this is hands down one of the more impressive aspects of the Troy campaign that I really wasn't quite prepared for. There was a ton of them for one, so many that the studio manager mentioned the team created around 24 in their last batch, but cannot remember the final number because there are so many. What makes the battle maps so impressive is how they are built. Each map has strategic points that cater to different strategies. Most maps have a relative protected area to hold your archers. Various landscapes force troops to engage in tight spots and or think outside the box to sway a battle in your favor. The terrain also features some great area to launch ambushes, either from trees or the newly implemented tall grass. And minor settlements present several options of approach that feel natural to the resource type of the settlement. They all look very, very well designed and make for some great cinematics. Sieges follow along the same lines. Aside from some occasional wonky AI behavior, the battle AI and the maps looked and operated very well, and some of my favorite battles during my time playing involved sieges, something that hasn't truly happened since Attila and Thrones. 2 victory types. The victory types were shown and explained during the event presentation: Total War and Homeric. Total War is the typical paint the map scenario that we've seen in all Total War games. Homeric is extremely story driven, requiring specific objectives to be completed that follow your hero's story, from personal missions to confederation or destroying certain factions and other things that just further push that idea of story. At some point during this Homeric victory path, you will come across your antagonist faction, someone who is the direct opposite of you. Once activated, this faction will become hellbent on destroying you, and you will need to defeat them to achieve that final objective of victory. It's a very interesting idea, and it's something I'm looking forward to checking out on release. Homer. This last bonus quick feature is not insignificant. Your advisor is Homer himself.
Hear me, spear-famed Menelaus. Brazen Prince Paris of Troy has dared to steal your wife.
It's a very cool little twist to add to the game, and I'm glad the team thought to include the man that created this all in the first place. That's all for your features look into Total War Saga Troy. There's a lot to unpack with all of these, but for now, I wanted to give you a quick look at the bigger idea behind them so you can get more of a solid thought on the game. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This is Havoc, and I'll see you in the next one.